In recent years, public trust in the media has remained at an all-time low. A Gallup survey even found that most Americans think that the news media that they consume is biased and inaccurate. In a world where news media was once the only truth teller of society, trusted widely and consistently across the nation, how did we get to this point? How did the media get to a world where fake news and social media have taken over our dialogue about journalism? Well, according to Hunt Elcott and Matthew Gentzkow, in their 2017 scholarly journal titled Social Media and Fake News in the 2016 Election, the presidential election of Donald Trump was a major catalyst in this new age of media. According to Elcott and Gentzkow, social media has made third-party authors much more prevalent, meaning that some authors who have no track record or reputation in journalism can get more readers than Fox News, CNN, or even the New York Times. While 62% of US adults get news on social media, namely through Facebook, many people who see fake news stories report that they believe them. This is where Alcott and Gentzkow's research became so important. To begin the study, Alcott and Gentzkow created a thorough process of collecting information. First, they gathered a database of fake news articles that were popular 3 months before the 2016 election using lists from independent third parties. Next, Alcott and Gentzkow took all the stories about Trump and Clinton from popular fact-checking sites like Snopes and PolitiFact. Then, the team used a list of 21 fake news articles that received significant engagement on Facebook, which were conveniently compiled in a BuzzFeed article. Combining all of these stories, they had a database of 156 fake news articles. Then, the team gathered the total number of times each article was shared in early December, categorizing the articles as pro-Trump or pro-Clinton. Once split into these two categories, they were once again divided into categories of big fake, small fake, big true, and small true, and placebo stories, depending on whether the information was false and whether the information in the headline was a major story or a minor story in the election. The placebo category was meant for articles that were made up just for research purposes and were never actually circulated. After the election, the team began their survey process. They conducted an online survey using the software SurveyMonkey with 1,208 US adults age 18 and older. The sample was drawn from 30 million people utilizing SurveyMonkey's audience panel, which is people who opt in to take a survey every month. The survey randomly showed each participant one of the randomly selected 15 pro-Trump or pro-Clinton headlines and asked if the participants saw this news story during the campaign and if they believed it was true or not. The results of the data are shown here. So, now that Alcott and Gentzkow have this information, what does it mean? Ultimately, 15% of survey respondents recalled seeing fake news stories and 8% recalled seeing the story and believing it. By comparison, about 14% of people report seeing the placebo stories and about 8% report seeing it and believing it. Placebo stories being the stories completely made up by the researchers. While a large amount of participants did not consider these headlines to be true, almost 100 participants recalled seeing and believing them. This may be because once you believe one fake news story about a candidate, you are more likely to believe more outrageous stories seen on social media. So when the researchers presented the participants with many completely made up news headlines about the candidates, it made it easier to believe the unbelievable. The results may have been related to the candidate it discussed as well. The most widely shared fake news stories in the 2016 election tended to favor Donald Trump over Hillary. According to Alcott and Gentzkow, there were about 3 times more fake pro-Trump articles in existence than pro-Clinton articles, and the average pro-Trump article was shared more on social media than pro-Clinton articles. As it may be the case with the results of the survey, believing in fake news is a more right-leaning practice as it typically favors the Republican candidate. The biggest takeaway that I gained after reading this journal piece is that a percentage of the population will believe or will choose to believe anything they see on social media, shown through the fake news headlines within the study. While trust in media is at an all-time low, the world we live in still surrounds us with fake news every day. Shown through the study created by Alcott and Gentzkow, what remains the most important factor is whether we choose to believe these stories or not.